Hello. Gonna have a quick garden update and I'm gonna share a dream that I had with you guys. Well, first of all, since we last saw the garden, it has grown quite a bit. As you can see, I had to put that trellis up today because deer have found my garden, and today, or sometime between today and Saturday, I've experienced the second attack. So they didn't eat these strawberries only because of this thing. But you can see they ate that down to a nub, which is the second time they have eaten that down to a nub. And it grew back very nice. And now it's gone again. So maybe they'll have good roots, I don't know. I haven't had much success with these strawberries, and that's the truth. That is the truth. Either the leaves start looking bad, like this, and that's some kind of, I don't know what kind of damage that is. Yep, that's ugly. So me, in my little world, I just cut that off. Because, I don't know. Mostly because I just don't know what I'm doing. And the plant just looks better when it grows back after all these rotten looking leaves go off of it. Now I did spray it with like some peppermint oil or something because spider mites and something else. What was that? Aphids. I just haven't had success with these strawberry plants. So I don't know. So they just seem to look better when I do this. And since the deer have been doing it anyways, difference does it make. Now what I'm hoping is, after doing all this, that next year they'll be pretty. They'll be nice plants. So I'm not looking for any strawberries off of these. These are June bearing anyway. Okay, well, I guess that's enough devastation for one day for the plants. Yeah, this looks like something is on these leaves. Yep. I need to pick that up. But I'm gonna do this tour first. Okay, I don't see any honeybees out here ever. Alright, I'm gonna talk fast so we can get the tour over with and I can tell you my dream. And then tomorrow, then I'll come out here and tend to the garden a little better. Now, that is a sunflower that I had two growing in the same spot. And sunflowers get really, really big. Just two seeds had come up. And I pulled this one up and separated it to see if it could grow somewhere else rather than just snipping it off and letting it die. And it looked pretty rough. I'm talking about it just looked like it was just no hope for it. So I cut all the leaves off that were all wilted and dying, and it actually is gonna live. A lot of little weeds here. I usually come through and pluck those out. You can see the soil's a little green, and the reason for that is it was dry and hot, as everybody knows. What the heck is that? Anyway, so soon as I watered, wouldn't you know, it rained like crazy. So that's some chives that I planted coming up. And this is just one of those weeds. All right, anyway, tomatoes. Look, there's tomatoes on here. Nice little size, aren't they? That's a, I believe that's a Brandywine pink tomato. Is probably that. This is some kind of tomato. That's another tomato. These are marigolds. And I think there's a short type of marigold, which obviously I didn't know that. And I planted these, and these are going to get huge. So I hope that isn't a problem. Dill. Gonna have some coriander seeds because this dill is bolting because I planted this way back. I don't even know when. More tomato. Damage from the deer. Look what they did. Which is why I put this trellis here. I don't know. They seem to love to come along this edge here. They haven't gone into the interior. So anyway, that's what's going on. See, I got collard greens. I got them covered up with a net. If you can see it. These two. And so they have very little bug damage on them. You see there's a hole there. And then there's another little spot where there's holes. But for the most part, it's okay. See, that's some more tomato, 2 more tomato plants. That's 3 in a row right there. Maybe a little too close together, but they'll be all right. All kinds of herbs all in between everything. I believe that's basil, some sort of a basil. That's a different kind of basil. This might be oregano. I don't know. Yeah, that might be oregano. The corn got tall. That's over 3 feet tall. So from the first deer attack, that's damage from the first time they came, which was right after the video that I made the first time. That little guy right there, see how short he is compared to everybody else? That one got ripped all the way out of the ground in the first deer attack. And so I replanted it. And it hung on and lived, but it's pretty stunted. All right, this is strawberries, devastated by the deer. There was a plant right there that's been eaten off to a nub. That one as well, just terrible. So that's not going to produce any fruit off of this one leaf, right? So I'm going to go ahead. That crown should probably be buried a little more. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this off because that's not going to bear any fruit without leaves to support its growth. So maybe these plants will be nice for next year because I'm not having any success with them this year. Between the deer, the aphids. See, that's some blooms that were just getting ready to come on. And then the deer came around here and ate the thing. So I'm hoping by cutting this off and stuff that I hear that it'll, it could be a strong plant if we live and the Lord doesn't return next year, next season. So that's that. Sorry, showing you the ground. What I was doing was cleaning that out, what I cut. And so this plant has just been a haven for all sorts of bugs and things that want to eat it. And I'm not here for it because I'm not growing food for bugs and deer. Trying to grow stuff for my own self to eat. All right, anyway, continuing the tour. All right, gotta hurry up. Battery's running low. So, sunflower. See, this is bigger. This is the counterpart that I cut that other one off of that was growing together with it. So you can see how being transplanted stunted that other one. And then that was another one. I don't know if I planted these in a smart spot or not, but we'll see. Basil. I don't know if that's basil or oregano. It might be oregano. Some more dill, cucumbers, honeydew, and cantaloupe is climbing up this vine in different spots. Doing nice. What is that? You guys see that? Right there. Get out of here. All right, anyway. I gotta stake these tomatoes up a little better. Obviously. So anyway, there's a strawberry plant that the deer, they really were bold and came around here. I hadn't been out here in a couple days. So that flower is not going to be able to produce fruit off of no leaves. It's like one leaf on this. And believe it or not, that will all grow back. That will all grow back. Anyway, there's lots of flowers on the tomatoes and on the cucumbers. No flowers yet really on the honeydew, I don't think. Yeah, maybe so. I gotta get prepared for squash bugs. There's a squash in here. I think there's one or two squash plants, a honeydew and a cantaloupe, and then maybe 4 or 5 cucumbers. Sorry, I'm calling them pickles. This is the pepper patch. All kinds of peppers in there, which I don't know what kind they are, because I made the rookie mistake of not labeling things. This is a very poor looking leaf. Very poor looking leaf here. I'm gonna cut it off. And there's another one. I'm gonna go through here and really prune well later. But anyway, that's what's going on. A couple little tomatoes in there too. More marigolds. Pepper plants all over the place with flowers on them. Hope they don't drop them. All kinds of herbs on the inside in there. Cilantro, which I don't like. Basil. Probably some thyme somewhere. Okay. My lettuce came up because it got attacked by aphids. Those are begonias. Ugly leaves, pretty flowers. That's another begonia. Little tomato plant with a little cluster of tomatoes on there. I don't know what kind. That might be the super sweet 100s. I'm not sure. Watermelon. Got 4 watermelon plants in amongst 2 pepper plants. Here's the 2 pepper plants. 2 more watermelon and another watermelon. So 4 of this type of watermelon all together. These are sugar babies. And look, okra. This time my okra plant has been planted early enough to actually probably get some okra. There's an okra right there. These are all flowers except for this, which is a little tomato plant. I might give that one away. Brandywine pink. These are flowers. Zinnias. That one's called an African daisy. This is potato slips that I'm growing. That one needs to be planted. These are some primrose flower that is just constantly being eaten by things. I don't know what that's gonna do. Marigolds. See why I said I planted the wrong type of marigold? Look how huge that is. And see how they're in the garden? That's just too big. Sunflowers. Cosmos. That was my mustard plant that went to seed. I pulled up some Swiss chard out of those things. We already saw over there. And last but not least, 2 more. These are called Dixie Queen watermelons. Got to get them in something bigger. They came out of the house. cosmos, and some marigolds that are about to get some flowers on them. Green cabbage and a red cabbage, and some lettuce that stayed in some solo cups way too long, so its root system is just tiny. It's sad, very sad. Basil, thyme, some kind of red basil, parsley, oregano, and more parsley. More flowers. Cosmos, zinnias, that African daisy, cosmos, and zinnias. Looking forward to the zinnias. This spot is not very sunny. I probably need to move that because you see how tiny those are compared to these zinnias. All right, so I'm going to sit down and talk to you about my dream. I'm going to paint this table. I think robin's egg blue. All right, let me tell you about this dream. Gotta choose which dream I'm going to tell you. I think I'll tell you the one I had today. All right. So I'll read it. All right. I had a dream that I was at this hospital. So I was at work at this hospital. It's not a hospital that I actually work at, or I know what it is. But I was working at this place, and there was some sort of special event, and we were all there, and we didn't have patients. There were patients there in the hospital, but we didn't get assigned patients. We hadn't taken report from the offgoing nurses. We were just all there in anticipation of some event that was going on there. Oh, these are some sweet potato slips that somebody gave me. I just haven't had a chance to plant them yet. They look sad. Anyway, so I had been saved by this young black security guard, because the way the hospital was situated, there was like a beach right there, and the hospital was built up on like a sand barge, but it was eroding. There was a lot of erosion going on there. So they had like these logs, big stakes set up along the perimeter. And when you went past there, then you were down on the beach part. But the sand was eroding, just dropping off in chunks. So somehow I had gotten in danger down there, and I was saved by this security guard. He rescued me, and it got reported to the hospital, and he was hoping to have gotten some recognition. So this is how it happened. So I don't remember that part happened in the dream, but it was either knowledge that I had, or I just forgot that part of the dream. So it happened that he saved me from that, and you know, my manager had to report it and all that stuff, and it went back to his supervisors and everything that he had done that. So then this particular night where we didn't have any patients and there was some kind of event going on, I was down there on the sand again, down below the barge where the hospital was built, and the sand was eroding, and I just could not climb back up there. So I started saying, help, help, and he was nearby, and he came and pulled me up again. And then I thanked him and everything, and he started talking to me about how he had hoped that the first time he had saved me, he would have gotten some recognition from his department, because he wanted to move up in his department, but I guess they really didn't. And so we were talking, and then he started rolling a blunt. He was a nice young man, but he started rolling a blunt. And I said, I didn't know for a fact that it was marijuana, but I said, you're not going to put that stuff in your lungs, are you? And he said, I don't remember what he said, but from there we kind of separated. And then I was going back up to my unit for whatever was going on that we were doing there at work. And to get back up through where the beach was and back to the unit where I worked on, there was a wedding going on. And it had just started. The first group of people were walking down the aisle, the first group of the bridal party, which was 4 young men. This was a black wedding, little black boys, young, like the age of, a little older than pallbearers, not pallbearers, ring bearers. And there was a Jackson 5 song playing, one of the little catchy songs they used to sing back in the 70s. And the little boys were bopping down the aisle to that, and they were dressed like little cooties. If anybody knows what a cootie is, it's I don't know, it's just a certain type of man that dresses this way, like with like a hat tipped to the side, stuff like that. Anyway, so that's how these little boys were dressing, and they were just a little novelty, the first group to come down the aisle. And I just made it through there. Otherwise, I would have been obstructing the ceremony and I would have been like stuck. So I made it through there, and I'm going around the side, and all of the attendees of the wedding, the guests were in bleachers, the adults, but then there were children lining along the wall. And this was outdoors and indoors at the same time. So anyway, I walked past the children, and I saw some little kids, these little boys that were bopping their head to the music and smiling to the music that was going on, that Jackson 5 song that the little ring bearer type boys were dancing to coming down the aisle. And then I passed these 2 little girls, and they were also dressed to be at a wedding. And I had like 2 chocolate covered sundaes and some other type of sweet dessert in a dish as I was walking by them. And so they started eating off of it, which I didn't really care. But then I thought, their faces are going to get dirty, their dresses are going to get dirty, I better not let them do that. And then plus, I'm a total stranger with their parents want them eating off of what I ate off of. So I said, you girls better not do that because your mom wouldn't like it. And then the one little girl just flat out lied. She said she was a sweet looking little girl, but she was a little liar. And she said, oh no, my mother would like it. My mother won't mind if I have some. I hear her crying now. Like saying her mother was crying because she couldn't get some of the ice cream, because she would want her little girl to have some of the ice cream so much that she's crying. And I said, your mother is not crying. And I walked away, and I was just shocked that such a little girl, like 3, would just lie like that. So then as I was walking, the guy started talking again, or I could hear him talking, and he was talking about a dream that he had. He was telling me a dream that he had, and he said he dreamed about these angels, and that the angels told him that where we are, the line that we are in, let me see if I can read it. Let's see. Yeah, he said, where did I write that at? Oh, he was telling me how the last time he had saved me. Dang, I don't know if I didn't write it. But anyway, he said that we are, this is what the angels told him. Said that the angels told him that the last days were 10 minutes, it was as if the last days were 10 minutes down the line. Now, line meaning like what's coming. That the last days were 10 minutes down the line. So, yeah, I wanted to share that dream because it seems like everything that's going on right now is trying to make everything look normal. This is what I want to say. They have totally devastated the world and changed everything that we ever knew. The only thing left is global government. And that's something that I also heard within the last few days in a dream, maybe a week or so. I heard global government. And that is what we are under. That is a transition that has completely and totally happened, even though it's not totally official yet. Um, but people have accepted it. They don't really have a problem with it. And there's nothing we can do about it anyway because it's a done deal. And they made a huge swap like that right under the American people's nose and also the people of all the industrialized countries. And then the third world countries are just along for the ride. What are they going to do about it? And we are the only ones that were jumping up and down and screaming at all the things that were happening. But to everyone else, they just normalized everything until we're in a totally different world. But so such a switch happened, such a drastic thing happened without an outcry, except from us. Now, what these people have accepted as their new normal, we can't accept as our new normal. We cannot be fooled by all of this complacency and the normalcy and the fact that it appears. See, the birds are still chirping, everything's still singing, the sun is still shining. Um, but yet and still, everything is different. Yet and still, the last days have come upon us. And the transition into the New World Order, the beast, if you will, the final government, the fourth beast, is here. And to all these other people, it is going to appear normal up until the end. But to us, we cannot forget that uproar. We cannot forget that we are in the perilous times. And the devil wants you to look at the side of the coin that looks normal, but you need to stay on the side of the coin that the Lord has described and explained to us what's going on. Because we're not as those who are in the dark. We are not as those who sleep. We're not as those who this time takes us like a thief. We know what's going on. And that's all I want to say. So